All right. Hello and welcome everyone to a free to play through check-in. We're going to talk about some just general topics dealing with the free to play through. And since I just hopped on to grab the catalyst that was from the Gift of the Lotus, I figured this is about as good a time as any to get that done. So as you can see, I'm Mag, and we've made a ton of progress. I am currently MR5, which is, of course, what is necessary to fully complete the star chart. And we are nearly there with the fully completing the star chart business. We have all of everything up until Pluto unlocked currently, and we're working on the Sedna Junction. All we have to do is get that weapon crafted that is MR5 or higher, which is already built in my foundry. I'm just saving it for the next stream. So we're going to have all of that stuff unlocked and be able to very quickly move on to the War Within. We are already done with the second dream, and it's been, you know, a little over a week, like 10 days-ish or so, and we very much have not been playing constantly. So we have made a ton of progress in only a few days. With that, I kind of wanted to talk about what the path was like through the star chart, as it were, and kind of what I did along the way. So this is going to be some really brief cliff notes on the run, as it were. So we started on Earth, obviously, as everyone does, and we picked Mag, which we'll get back to in a second. Went through Venus, just did the Jackal once, didn't farm Rhino whenever we were there the first time. Did Mercury, came back to Earth, went to Mars, did Phobos, and then we stopped off on Deimos very early on in the run as we were able to get into a clan, and there is a workaround for getting into a clan really early. The workaround is if you have a friend that's in a clan, or if you're just planning on joining a clan in general, you can ask someone that's in that clan to do this for you. Just get invited to their dojo, and then have them invite you to the clan, and accept the invite to the clan while you're in it, so that you can go and purchase the corrupted keys for the dragon vaults. So basically, you get the dragon keys for the dragon vaults, and then you're going to take those immediately to Deimos. And on Deimos, the very first node, Horrend, is Capture. Capture is where you open the vaults. And you're going to have some traces kicking around, because on Mars, one of the junction requirements is for you to refine a Void Relic, which you're going to need to, you know, get some traces for anyway. And then on the Phobos junction, you have to open some relics. So you are incentivized. Well, you kind of, it's not even incentivized. You have to open some relics, so you're going to have some void traces. You're going to want to do the lowest refinement possible to get through this junction, and then you're going to have some extra leftovers, almost certainly, or you can create some leftovers. And at this point, this is where you basically unlock platinum farming, because these corrupted mods that you get from here, which are incredibly important to builds for your early game Warframes and just for builds in general, are also worth hefty amounts of platinum if you're just even a little bit lucky. The mods from this mission kind of bottom out at like 5 platinum, and obviously for those really low end mods, it's going to be much harder to find a buyer. But for the higher end stuff, it can be anywhere from like 15 to 20 platinum, and they're really, really easy to sell. That being said, obviously I have the benefit of having, you know, an audience and stuff that will do trades with me, and, you know, it's easier to find someone that's looking for a transient fortitude whenever you can talk to a chat full of people that might be looking for that. But Warframe market is constantly filled and, you know, always busy with people trading and doing all this stuff. So you can definitely get a lot of value out of this mission just in the long term, and if you're going to need Warframe slots or weapon slots or what have you. But more importantly, this is going to be where you're going to acquire your power. So on the first day, I farmed a ton of stuff here. I did not get fleeting expertise, but I got a bunch of extra transient fortitudes, and I got a ton of extra really good mods. I got some extra narrow-mindeds, etc., etc. We got a bunch of good stuff here. And I will say, early on, if you were having to do this solo, it is going to be much harder. And by much harder, I mean that you're basically going to have to run it as a 50-50 mission if you're playing as Mag, because if you're playing as Mag kind of needs her shields. That's kind of her thing. So it's really, really a bad idea to run the reduced shields key. And as a brand new player that doesn't have a lot of damage yet, if you're doing it as early, of course, as I did it, running the extinguished key is also going to be kind of tough. But you can run the health key really, really easily, and the movement speed key really, really easily, which means you have a 50% shot at opening the vault if you're only running 2 keys. If you've already farmed Rhino and you have him up and running, shields and health keys are an easy for him. Extinguished can really easily be run if you even have just, like, you know, a pretty decent weapon. If you're already at the Zorus, your Dunzos can equip all the keys, easy mode. And then the run slowly key is not a big deal at all, and you can equip that no problem. So with Rhino, you can equip all the keys and always open the vaults, guaranteed, as long as you have the traces to do it. And it's just generally a really good farm and a really simple mission to run through. That being said, if you're super early and you have people to run this with, it's incredibly fast to run through and just get tons of mods. So I would highly advise you do that. I am going to be putting an updated video out just doing this mission, especially on, it'll be on the free-to-play account and everything else, so that I can show people how to run through these and like what they should be looking for, etc., etc. And that'll be a good time. But for now, moving on, that is what we did. We got there on day 1. So then, of course, we moved through Ceres, moved through Jupiter, moved through Europa, get some quests done along the way. There's a bunch of quests, you know, through here. We're gonna have to go do Stolen Dreams, and we have to do the New Strange, and so on and so forth. So just getting that stuff done, just like, you know, doing our junction objectives like you'd be expecting. And about the time we were on Jupiter, that's whenever I traded for a fleeting expertise. Now, this is the point where we're going to take a break from progression and talk about getting strong, because for Saturn, we were at the point where we were getting pretty strong, and getting pretty strong with Mag. So Mag is our starter, and I gotta say, overall, I think Mag may be the strongest starter. Having, you know, played through a lot of times with Excal and once with Volt, and now once with Mag, I had a horrible experience using Volt on the free-to-play through. And Excal has always been a good time, but Mag legitimately has just been phenomenal. And I'm not even focusing on like the really strong points I know about, of course, from using like a late game Mag build. Just from utilizing a build like this, which does not even have a reactor installed. We have not even installed a reactor in this build. We're utilizing fleeting expertise plus just a ton of range between stretch, auger reach, and overextended. And we're even using broken streamline just to get that little bit more efficiency, and then just a redirection for survival. This build has been great. Obviously, we picked up Steel Charge from the shop on the Nightwave, and I would highly advise anyone pick up Steel Charge. If you're a new player, if you see Steel Charge in that store, pick it up immediately. It's a V polarity, which means it matches Mag's polarity. It's the highest point-giving aura in the game just in general, and you can put it on Excal for 9 points. That's really great. And in addition to that, it matches Rhino's polarity, and you can get an 18-point start on getting Rhino up to, you know, a higher level of play. And that stuff's all great. In addition to that, melee damage is one of the best stats in the game for like the huge early game. Just like, you know, using the Mark 1 bow a ton early on, and then moving into the Zorus. And melee weapons are just going to be a cornerstone of what you're doing early on in order to acquire a lot of power. And just having them do more damage is just great. So Steel Charge has been absolutely phenomenal this early on. Now, the most notable mod in this entire build is Fleeting Expertise. This comes from those vaults we were just talking about, and I am going to have a video on those, or an updated video on those. I do already have some. This gives me 60% ability efficiency. The early game experience in terms of energy is still awful. It's still complete trash. The energy economy is terrible, and it doesn't get better until post-War Within. And even then, like, there's a lot of energy, the energy economy that's real rough until you have other solutions even beyond that in order to get more energy, whether that's, you know, utilizing like Warframes that can use Rage or Hunter Adrenaline or what have you. Just all these other ways of acquiring energy. Early game, you just have none of them. You just have to hope to God that enemies drop energy, and it is an absolutely terrible experience. Like, just out and out, it is not great. So you want to pump up your efficiency as high as you can get it, because that little bit of energy you're going to get, you're going to need, and you're going to want to use as little of it as possible on your abilities, because you don't know when you're going to get any more. So we have the full 172% efficiency because we only have a Broken Streamline. Haven't gotten a real copy of this yet, but Broken Streamline, honestly, like, I mean, it's 5 mod points for 12% ability efficiency, and whenever you're combining it with Fleeting Expertise, that's honestly fine. I mean, it's 12 energy per cast of Crush, and Crush on this build is the main thing that I'm using for both survival and also killing a lot of trash mobs. Even with the minus 60% strength that we're getting from Overextended, which is also giving us a ton of range, you know, we're kicking out some, like, honestly, totally fine damage for, like, the little tiny baby levels that we're playing at. And the shields that we're getting, because we're hitting such a large area, are really nice. This is, in addition, restoring shields to the rest of our squad, and it's making us really hard to kill. We have over 2,000 shields whenever we're fully charged up on overshields, which Crush is constantly giving us. and it makes us very, very hard to kill. Like, I would say for quite a number of missions, if there's enough enemies to kill, Mag can sometimes be doing a lot more than even Rhino would be doing for me at this level, because I just don't have the weapons that you would normally, use with a Rhino with Roar and stuff to really cause mayhem and havoc. And just hitting 4 and having all like the unimportant enemies just fall off and die is super good. Like, just being very survivable. It's also a stun. Like, all those enemies also fall to the ground and are crumpled whenever you do it. So, like, it's just a good time. I do think that I am going to be keeping Mag on this account and not just like getting rid of her or selling her right away, because she's just been good. And eventually I'm going to move into a magnetized build. Like, I'm probably going to put a reactor on my regular Mag, move into a magnetized build, and then just use her in order to run Elite Sanctuary Onslaught and farm focus points. Like, that's really probably where we're going here. And I'm just very surprised overall that Mag has been so strong. Of note on this build, definitely Fleeting Expertise is the #1 thing I would suggest all new players try and get, because it's maybe the single most important mod in the entire game. But other than that, from Corrupted Vaults, you really don't need a lot. Overextended is super nice. I like it. But if you're not running it, this build's still going to be great. Augur Reach, notably, this is 30% ability range. Not super important. As long as you've got Stretch, you're going to be doing fine. But Stretch is also 45. If you only got 30, if you only ended up with an Augur Reach from the bounties in the Plains of Eidolon, that's also fine too. Just a little bit more range is what you're looking for, and then you're going to be just doing great baseline. If this build, if all you're looking at is a redirection and a Fleeting Expertise and a broken streamline, that's okay. If you're really early on, that's probably better than most of the people you're going to be matching into's builds, unless, of course, you're on like a very popular mission that even people at much later stages of the game run into. So yeah, good stuff. It's been a phenomenal time. Other things of note, we did go for the Vectis on this run. We don't go for the regular Heck anymore because I'm MR5, and as soon as I complete the War Within, I can go get the Kuva Heck if I were so inclined. However, we did grab the Vectis because we do need something that shoots bullets and can hit weak points, and the Vectis is good at both of those things. Also, quite notably, the Vectis has a very, very cheap build that can do a considerable amount of damage, especially considering that we have Sniper combo to help us out. So, I've only got, a rank 4 Serration, which I honestly wouldn't suggest anything higher for someone who's this early. And then we have Critical Delay, Vital Sense, and Hellfire installed in this. This is obviously has no potato in it. We have not upgraded this with a potato. We just don't need to. We're going to be getting into much better weapons very, very soon. But for what we have right now, this just being like a pure heat critical weapon that only really needs these low ranks of mods is phenomenal. I will say, quite obviously, if you happen to have farmed the dual stat heat mod, which you can get from spy missions, you would use that over Hellfire. And as soon as I get that, I'll be switching that onto here. It is much, much better with that because it's, of course, another 15% heat and also plus 60% status, which is going to make it just more effective in general. And it also costs you less points, which is a minor thing. But if you were utilizing that, it would allow you to actually go up to rank 6 of Serration and also get that additional elemental damage. So it would be quite a bit stronger overall. So if you're looking for a really early game weapon that's not going to require a lot of resources and really get stuff done for you, I still think that the Vectis is a great choice, and the materials for it are not hard to farm. And it's MR2, so it gets you through one of the junction requirements that you're going to be needing. So yeah, just really great stuff with the Vectis. Just very happy with it overall once again. Whenever I have needed a gun to shoot a weak point, whether that's on, a Nox or whatever else, or on, Sargus Ruck or anything like that, it's just been great for that. And then, of course, we have the Zorus. So the Zorus comes from the Deadlock Protocol, and you're not going to have immediate access to this quest because it requires MR4, but this quest is really, really easy to unlock. All you have to do for the Deadlock Protocol, and if you go into here and it's not unlocked, it'll tell you what the prerequisites are, is you need to be MR4, and you have to complete the introductory quest on Fortuna. Now, I will say the introductory quest on Fortuna, if you're very, very early, can be a little tough. I would wait until you have Fleeting Expertise and maybe like, a little bit of higher ranked redirection. I would not go to Fortuna right when you get to Venus. I would definitely wait until you're maybe kicking around like a Jupiter kind of area, maybe Ceres, and then just go see how you feel doing that intro quest on Fortuna. But once you've got that done and your MR4, you should immediately go do the Deadlock Protocol. And the reasoning for that is just because the Zorus is the single best thing you are going to acquire until you can farm liches. It is so easy to get. It's just they literally give it to you in the quest. It's a part of the core of the quest is that you need this weapon, and it is absolutely phenomenal. This is the second best glaive in the whole game, and the first best glaive is probably top 5 melee weapons, period. And by probably, I mean it definitely is. So, yeah, we're like, this is, you know, Glaive Prime Baby Edition, but Baby Edition Glaive Prime is a nuclear warhead. This weapon is absolutely incredible. And for that, we have this, you know, lower level build on it. We're not using anything crazy. We're not getting into the sack mods or anything nuts like that. But what we do have, and that's really important, is that we have Corrupted Charge and Killing Blow. These are huge increases to our damage, and we picked up a Volatile Quick Return. Of note, I did trade for Volatile Quick Return. They run about 5 platinum, which you can you can either choose to do some corrupted mod farming and try and get some other stuff you might not have and then sell any of your extras in order to acquire that, or you can just go to Deimos. Deimos is available much earlier than I thought it was. You don't even need to complete the Arcwing quest, even though you fly an Arcwing into that mission. And you can just go there and start out and do that. That's also where I farmed a bunch of plastids. So, you know, you can go out into the open world on Deimos and get a ton of these plastid drops, which is really great if you're going to be trying to build Rhino. This build works amazing. We have broken 1 million damage with this build on enemies, and yeah, it's really, really gross. We're probably just gonna show like how the Zorus works, just for anyone who doesn't understand it. We're just gonna drop into a mission real quick, probably. But yeah, the basis of this is that we've got pressure point, base melee damage go up. This is gonna be one of the first mods you should level and put on your Mark 1 bow. Absolutely incredible. Killing Blow, really easy to get. If you don't have one, this is an ask for it tier mod. Along with that, True Steel and Organ Shatter. Both of these are also ask for it tier mods. And when I say ask for it tier mods, I legitimately mean join my Discord, join any like content creators Discord. Like a Warframe community in general, very nice people. If you're missing True Steel and Organ Shatter and Killing Blow and stuff like that, or like honestly, even if you're looking for a Volatile Quick Return, like these mods are not rare. If you don't have Fever Strike, you will have Northwind. This comes from a junction. If you don't have Fever Strike, ask for it. Like somebody can just do one trade with you and just like hook you up with these. None of them are a big deal. Always feel free to ask. Join into my Discord. Ask some people, hey, can anybody give me True Steel, Organ Shatter, Killing Blow? I don't have these. Absolutely do that. However, Corrupted Charge is the expensive mod in this build. This is one of the mods that is really, really good to get extras of whenever you're farming the Corrupted Vaults. Because it's just worth a good amount of platinum, and it's excellent on this build. Will this build work without it? Absolutely 100%. It absolutely will. Is it incredible in here, and you should definitely try and get it? Absolutely 100%. The other upside is, of course, that you're just going to be farming platinum while trying to get this mod. So, yeah, just excellent for any heavy attack build. It's a cornerstone of lots of late game builds. You should have a copy of this one way or another. Try and get your hands on it. With that, we also have an Astral Twilight. So Astral Twilight, I consider Astral Twilight to be on a, hey, can you hook me up to your mod? But it is a couple of platinum, so you might have to trade for this as well. Also, if you're very unlucky, you might have to trade for a Corrupted Charge. But, you know, trade some of your other Corrupted mods in for a Corrupted Charge. Not too difficult a thing to do, especially if you get an extra couple fleeting expertise. You can do some pretty condensed trading there and just get this build going. But honestly, if this build completely takes out anything that's difficult to get, like if we're like dropping Corrupt Charge, drop Volatile Quick Return, maybe you couldn't get it, drop Astral Twilight at that point, like we're looking at a build made out of commons and uncommons that can slap ass. Like it's really, really powerful. So just to showcase real quick how glaives work for anyone that doesn't know, we'll just jump into a mission that's just generally profitable to do. As another tip, from Phobos, off on this branch here, you can go to the Void. This branch is super, super useful. So you'll go through Tesha, which doesn't really matter. But then you'll go to Hepit. So Hepit is a phenomenal mission because you get a relic from every single run of this mission, which is super important. Hepit is fantastic to run if you need Argon crystals or really anything else in the Void, or even if you're just trying to do container farming runs on this, which I do also have a much older video on, and those drop a good host of nice mods as well. But we'll just run this real quick just to showcase how the Zorus is working. Yeah, it's real nice that the Zorus became kind of an early game cornerstone for new players, because we of course had that brief period of it being a godlike stat stick, which it now is no good for. And then instead now it's just amazing with the glaive rework. There you go. There's 917,000 damage. So basically, the way that this works, this is a glaive. So we have our, our just general moveset and all this stuff. This is just mashing E. We're generally not going to be using this. For the glaive, you want to hold and throw. And then, so anytime you're just like holding and throwing, you throw it out, and then it'll just automatically come back by itself. So you can like chain throw it and do all this stuff. But what you want to do is manually detonate it with a heavy attack. And how you do that is you hit the heavy attack button, which is normally middle mouse click, and in midair it will explode, dealing a massive amount of damage with this build. Obviously, you can see the damage numbers that we're kicking out already, and for me personally, I think they're very, very impressive for an account that is barely 10 days old. In order to just be doing this amount of damage is supremely useful. For taking down capture targets in one blow like that, just being able to do these missions very quickly. All the stuff that we can utilize with this is, like, we can do a lot more by virtue of having the Zorus and knowing how it works. Obviously, if you don't know how to do heavy attacks and stuff, this weapon's gonna look pretty flaccid, right? Like, it's like, that's 14,000 damage still. That's certainly not bad. But, it's not even killing a level 13 MOA and stuff like this. The heavy attacks are really, really necessary for you to get those big pops and take down much stronger enemies. But once you're doing that, it is just an absolutely excellent weapon. But yeah, if you need relics, this mission is great for it. Obviously, you saw how quickly we can take down the capture target, and we're just kind of dawdling here. Going through here and very quickly running through the mission, getting to the end and grabbing the relic each time. Great way to farm the traces that you're going to be needing in order to run those corrupted vaults, because you're going to be able to run this very, very fast and grab a relic, pop a bunch of relics on whatever mission happens to be up, use those traces to then go and open the vaults in the nodes around Deimos. But yeah, just excellent stuff overall. Obviously, this has been kind of a long catch-up video, but we are on the right path. We're making very swift progress. For anyone who doesn't know, like, I'm planning to take this account all the way up into like Steel Path and just really see what's available here. Stuff that's building right now. We have the Atomos, which is our MR5 weapon. Building Carrier just for the mastery. Furus just for the mastery. And then also just one of our Forma blueprints that we grabbed out of a relic. Also just getting in here. We got very lucky early on with a Forma just dropping out of a sabotage mission, which is like a very low % chance. But yeah, we have access to Forma now and can build that. And just generally good stuff. We got to do some index, as you can see. So we have almost 600,000 credits, which is really very nice, as we were hurting for credits for a very long time. And yeah, it's just going great so far. We are going to be working on getting our kind of ideal companion here soon, which is going to be one of the Vulpaphyla from Deimos. So we're going to be working on some Deimos rep and getting all that stuff boosted up. And yeah, just working on a whole lot of farms, getting the star chart done, doing some good business. So yeah, that's going to be next Wednesday. We are going to be streaming this, of course, every Wednesday. So look forward to that. If you want to see more of our progression here, should be War Within next time, and then pretty quickly Liches. It's going to be interesting to see with the new damage reduction on Liches and stuff, how fast we're going to be able to take one of them down, because we're also going to need to get a railjack during next stream. So yeah,
did you hear that?
Should be interesting to see. Oh, also, I totally forgot to mention, we do have access to Rhino, and on Rhino we're using like a similarly very just like early build, just through vitality and redirection here, whatever. I've got Mobilize and Thieves Wit in here for just some utility such stuff, and then Fleeting, Streamline, Intensify is in here. Intensify really not needed. If you're running Fleeting and Streamline, you're generally going to have enough energy to keep putting your 2 back on, make yourself very, very tough and hard to kill. So Rhino's here for whenever we, need just a little bit more of a simple approach, or we don't think we're going to be fighting very many enemies. He's very good at that, of course. And of course, the damage boost that he can provide is also very good. But yeah, don't think I'm going to be getting rid of Mag anytime soon, at least. And kind of the same for Rhino. So our starter plat, which I still haven't used yet, is probably going to go into 2 Warframe slots, and that is in part because our progress on the Nightwave, we're at level 3, so we get a couple of weapon slots from this. These 2 weapon slots are going to really help us out. I'm probably going to have 2 weapon slots kind of at all time reserved for very simply just, mastery stuff. Speaking of mastery stuff, I did not talk about our secondary at all. So right now, the only secondary we have is the Mark 1 Kunai, and I've gone through and just leveled a few things like the Aklado and stuff like that. The secondary is kind of just being used
Operator,
as a
you have
slot
remembered
where the
well how
mastery
the Tenno
goes
arm
up.
themselves.
I don't really have any interest currently in utilizing a secondary weapon. Just between the primary and our melee weapon, I kind of get everything done that I need to get done. And spending the resources on leveling the mods in my secondary slot probably is not going to be worthwhile until we have some of those very, very high-powered secondary weapons. Stuff like the Lex and other early game weapons just aren't really worthwhile anymore, and you're better off just skipping them or just buying them and leveling them for mastery and then immediately getting rid of them. But yeah, obviously we have the Atamos building, and that'll be a thing that I level, but I don't know if I'll actually invest in it. Even though the Atamos is worth investing in, we're actually getting dangerously close to having a Kuva new core, which kind of puts the Atamos into a situation where it's completely useless, let's say. But yeah, that is going to do it for the update on the free-to-play through so far. Tons and tons of progress. Obviously, a few more specific guides are going to be coming out, but just wanted to tell everybody where I am currently. I will see you guys on the next free-to-play through stream. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and goodbye.